The United States and China are making headway in climate cooperation. America's climate envoy, John Kerry, says that both countries have managed to reach an understanding on various issues. He believes that this will ensure progress when the COP28 talks begin in Dubai this month.
It was a very constructive meeting. We worked hard. We did have some successes, some things where we found common ground. And I think over the course of the next weeks, you'll be hearing about it.
Talks between Mr. Kerry and his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, ended in California this week. Both sides have described the meeting as productive, with Beijing announcing that it had achieved positive results on developing bilateral climate change cooperation and that the two countries will jointly push for COP28's success. The upcoming COP28 summit has been labelled by the US climate envoy as an absolutely critical opportunity for the world to win in its fight against climate change. Despite a growing number of global challenges, he explained how this is possible in a sit-down interview with CNA's Julie Yu at the Bloomberg New Economy Forum here in Singapore.
A lot is happening in the world right now. The ongoing war in Ukraine, the Middle East crisis between Israel and Hamas. But how concerned are you that these crises could complicate the Dubai summit? And how do you ensure that climate action remains a top priority despite all these noises?
Well, it's a great question. And I think the answer is very simple, that we don't have any choice. We have to move now. Ukraine is serious. What's happening in the Middle East is really serious, too. There are other challenges around the world, migration and food supply, hunger. But all of this will be affected by the climate crisis. And life on the planet is being hugely disrupted as a result of the warming taking place because of how we burn fossil fuel. And if we don't capture the emissions, we can't win the battle. So we really have a very full agenda, but I'm convinced we have the ability to be able to meet this challenge if we'll just get a little more serious.
The fight over fossil fuel is also heating up, but there is anticipated strong push to prioritize reducing emissions while over phasing out of fossil fuels and also focusing on endorsing technologies like CCUS. But there are also worries that too much emphasis may kneecap climate progress. Do you share their concerns? And how do we navigate the line between calling out sluggish movers, but at the same time not to impede on the technology that we might actually need down the road?
Boy, that's a packed question. Really good question. A couple of them in a way. But look, I think the fact is that the COP process is going to elicit a lot of energy and a lot of output from countries all around the world. And I think that the new technologies, the key is this tension about fossil fuel and phasing down. The key is we have to capture the emissions. And if you're capturing the emissions, then it will phase down because people are going to move to renewables and other things over time. And I think that's part of the transition, is green hydrogen or blue or pink, whatever color it's going to be. Hydrogen is going to be part of the future. But we have to bring these new technologies to scale, and that will determine the future. The marketplace is going to say, wait a minute, that's an old technology and it's too expensive. And we don't want to do that anymore because we have to clean up the mess. Those questions are now going to come to the table front and center.
The road to net zero is proving to be quite difficult because we are also seeing climate trailblazers like the UK rolling back on their climate goals. What does that tell you about the reality of energy transition? It tells me
that some people are being swayed by money and that they're not following through on some of the promises because of pressure of shareholders, pressure of external elements, and it's a problem. We can't go backwards. We cannot allow the Paris Agreement to be walked backwards. And that will be one of the tests of the COP and its success.
Another objective is loss and damage fund. There seems to be a lot of hiccups along the way. Some of the climate fund talks have collapsed several times. What is U.S. offering on the table, and what will define a successful loss and damage fund?
Well, we're going to help. We helped. We've supported it. We believe in the loss and damage fund. It was our idea to accelerate solving the problem from 2 years to 1 year. We will stand it up, and we're going to make a good faith effort to get the rules. But we need everybody to take part in this. It can't just be a few countries. We have to have everybody be helpful to the degree they can, to whatever their ability is.
And lastly, Secretary, before you let you go, could you paint for us an environmentally sustainable world that you wish to see by 2050?
Well, a sustainable world is a must. It's very hard to get to when you have these forces that are just pushing development. Tear down the forest. We need more wood. Got to build this. Got to build. We have to find ways to find new materials to deal with. Sustainable means you can keep it going in a circle, and you recycle things. You use things over. You just don't have enough resources on the planet to just be slowly digging away until there's, everybody's crowded into some area. It's not going to work. Sustainability is very hard, but it is also the greatest gift we could give to our children and our grandchildren in the future, because if you're not sustainable, it's the opposite of sustainable is it won't last. It can't work. And therefore, we've got to keep the pressure on.